uh, just so it's the insurance company has declared our car a total because of mouse damage.
Oh, geez.
And so we're beginning to look for another car,
Wow.
just to give us something to do in our spare time.
All right.
Yeah,
Huh.
that's always so much fun.
Oh. Boy, is it fun. Gee whiz.
Hmm.
Okay,
All righty. Let the fun begin.
sit down.
Oh, okay.
Where you can put your chair wherever you like.
Well, I didn't want to sit in front of the camera.
You have the whole room. Oh, here you are, tired, and
Yeah.
you're going to be my focus today.
I'm taking now.
Questions? How's your practice?
I could use a refresher on two hands. Somehow I'm not getting to the transition correctly.
Transition is
Yeah,
counterintuitive, to say the least.
yes, and I had it at one time.
Okay.
And all the videos that I look back on are not, they're not up anymore.
Oh, yeah, the early ones.
Yeah, because we haven't done it in a while.
Yep. Jeff,
Yes.
any in your practice, any questions?
No, no questions right now. I just, I do my best at practice in terms of time and quality, but it's not as much as I would like, to be honest, but I do my best.
Can't ask for more.
These are my dogs. I have to let them out. Excuse me.
No questions, David. Just plugging along with the practice that you gave us on, the heel and the toe, because I was finding that my weight was on both heels in those positions. So I'm having to relearn to really focus on having the unweighted leg on the toe and the weighted leg on the heel. So
Right.
that's what some time.
Yep. How are you doing with that, Joyce?
I was going to answer ditto, Carol, and
Okay.
couple that with the balance of the hips and that correct movement of the hips. It sort of goes hand in hand, and if the hip part is working, the weight seems to drop into the heel for me.
Yep.
That's certainly more direct. And keeping that throughout whatever, whether it be one arm or through the form, is a challenge.
Mhm.
So
Try it
but
in
I
the
thought that was
108 posture Tai Chi form.
okay.
The long form. Okay, well, let me switch my camera here and I'll give you something else to think about, and then we'll look at those things. So I need to. So I actually want to throw one other thing into your thinking here. And that's that it's how important it is to have loose and relaxed shoulder blades, because if your shoulder blades are very tight, all your arm movements are going to be compromised. And it's going to be difficult to be spherical. It's also going to prevent the transference of the energy in your legs and your torso actually going up all the way to the top of your head and all the way to your fingertips. So shoulder blades are very important. Most people think of their deltoids as being their shoulders, but actually your shoulders have a number of components, with the most important one being the shoulder blades, the scapula. Now, why is it important to have loose shoulder blades? If you move your shoulder blades, your arm has no choice but to move. If you move your shoulder blades, your arm will move with it. You can move your elbows, your wrists, and your hands or your fingers and not have anything happen to your shoulder blades. And that's a major disconnect. One of the reasons why this is important energetically is that when the energy goes from your spine to your whole shoulder girdle, it has to pass through the shoulder blades. And the shoulder blades are more or less controlling it. The second reason is that the movement of the shoulder blades is also causing a continuous massage of your heart, especially when the shoulder blades are going forward and back, and not as much when they're moving side to side. Front and back causes that particular action. Now getting good shoulder blade movement is critical in all parts of the 8 Gates training, because with it, your arm movements and the smooth connection of your chi from the top to the bottom and the bottom to the top will not be smooth and continuous. So we're going to do a shoulder roll exercise that can help you to release the shoulder blades. The normal way that shoulder rolls are done in every high school gym class and pretty much everywhere else is that you do them from the deltoid muscles. You focus your attention on the tips of your shoulders and you move them. And that's not what we're going to be doing. We want to make sure that the shoulder blades are actually what is moving your shoulder. When the fascial movement happens, chi moves through your body through various biological mechanisms. It moves through your blood, through your nerves, and it also moves through your fascia. And the shoulder blade movement is the one way in which you can attach to the fascia and get it to move in a coordinated way. And they are also very good for massaging the head. Hearts, David, hearts. And when the shoulder blades are moved well, they also release the sternum, where all the ribs come in. So in other words, shoulder blade movement is very, very good for releasing everything in your thoracic area. When you do shoulder rolls, there are a number of ways that they can be done, but you're only going to need to do the ones we need for this right now. So what we're going to do, and let me just demonstrate it first. Actually, I'm going to turn sideways for a moment. I don't know whether you can see this or not. Sorry about the poll. If you're doing shoulder rolls with the deltoid muscles and focusing on the tip of the shoulders, they look like this. I'm using my muscles to do this. We want to use the shoulder blades, the scapula, to do it. And that changes the movement so that it becomes this. Okay. This encourages the movement of the energy from the feet up to the top of the head and back down to your feet. And it also, notice you can go in both directions. It also goes right down into your abdominal cavity and moves the internal organs. So that's one. The second one is not a roll. This is where you're simply going to move the shoulder blades one in and one out, one towards the spine, one away from the spine, and then reverse them. And that movement moves the arms. It also releases a lot of tension in the neck. So it's another practice we'll do in a moment. The third one is to alternate so that you have one shoulder up when the other is down, one forward when the other is back. And again, this movement is coming from and being directed by the shoulder blades, not by the deltoid muscles. So you're trying to keep those muscles relaxed. And just as we did, as I did with the first one, this of course can reverse. And this is particularly good for releasing all kinds of problems in the back and the chest, really the whole thoracic area. And it also changes the whole quality of the movement. So you're trying to feel your scapula actually causing the movement. So, yeah, I wanted to say one more thing. So, when you're doing an 8 gates movement, the shoulder blades have to be in constant motion. You don't lift your hands from your hands, and you actually lift your hands from your shoulder blades. This motion, I'm sorry, the main point is that if your shoulder blades are really tight, what they're going to do is to be pulling on the fascia of your back. Sometimes your fascia will be stretching more than usual, and it can be causing a sting or tightness. And all you need to do is to ease up on it and just gradually get the fascia that's attached to your shoulder blades to stretch. Don't try and do it in one fell swoop, because if it's really strong, you'll actually feel the fascia pulling and you'll feel pain in your neck, which nobody really needs or wants. So I want you to stand up and do those 3 movements, and I'll talk you through it. So first thing I want you to do is just see if you can jiggle your shoulder blades. See if you can just get your shoulder blades to loosen up a little bit. Just jiggle them, okay? It also helps you connect to where they are. So your mind can clearly feel where they are. A lot of people don't actually know where their shoulder blades are because they've never paid any attention to them. So like everything else that you've done in 8 gates, put your mind inside your body. Extend it through your body. Really find your shoulder blades. And be aware of the chi moving through your body if you want to actually move your shoulder blades. And then begin by bringing your shoulder blades up in front. And remember, you're not doing 100%, you're doing 70%. So focusing on the shoulder blades, you're going to bring the shoulders up in front and over and back and down. But focus on the shoulder blades. Let them move the shoulders and the arms. Don't focus on the muscles. As your shoulders go up, feel the stretch in your back. When they go down, make sure you feel the stretch in front. Depends which way you're going. So go up the back and then down the front. Really feel the circularity of that movement. Whichever way you've been going, go the other direction. Circle the other direction. Slow down, Dave. Well, it just helps to feel it a little better.
If you,
I'm sorry?
if you get your elbows out too, it's helpful.
You got to keep the armpits open. So yes, the elbows are not close to the sides. See if you can really feel your shoulder blades moving. Where's the front of your shoulder blades? And the back? And the sides? If you can actually feel your shoulder blades pulling your ribs. Now go back to your first circle and see if you can make this a very smooth and continuous motion. See how smooth you can make it. So the trick is, can you do this so it's continuous? You're not stopping at any point. You're transiting through them and you're making a circle with your shoulder blades. And then go back to the opposite direction and make it smooth and continuous. Pause for a moment. Anybody have a question at this point? How does that feel? Can you feel your shoulder blades?
Yes, quite a bit.
I got 2 yeses. Carol, Joyce?
Yeah. David, it reminds me of when you had us do this in a class and we had our back against the wall so we could actually feel the movement of it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so good to remember that exercise. It helps me to visualize it a little better.
Okay. So now go to the one where you just put your arms out to the side and move the shoulder blades. They both go in one direction. One towards the spine, one away from the spine. One towards the spine, one away from the spine. Just see if you can connect to that movement. Feel what it does to your neck. This actually should release some tension in your neck. Good, Dave.
Yeah, we did this with extending out, extending in,
Uh-huh. Lengthening out.
lengthening out, lengthening in.
That's it. Lengthening out and lengthening in. Absolutely.
I'll make one go clockwise and one go counterclockwise.
In a moment.
Oh, I knew that. I knew that was coming. Okay. That is pretty good, actually.
Good. So now go back to, you can let the arms relax down, but keeping the armpits open. And one up and down. So making opposite circles. And keeping that movement smooth and continuous. And you don't have to make it big, but it does need to be continuous. The trick is not to stop. So don't make too much movement with your hands at the moment. This is really focused on the shoulder blades. So you're not trying to make the hands do something, you're trying to make the shoulder blades do it all. And see if you can make your circles fairly even side to side. So you don't want to have one shoulder rising higher than the other. And reverse, go the other way. Okay, relax. Anybody have a question in there at all?
No.
Okay.
Just one brief question. I don't know if you know the answer or not, but I'm just wondering how many energy meridians actually run through the shoulder out into the arm?
Actually, there are 6.
Wow. On each side?
Well, there are 6 sort of surface ones. There are probably 1,000 actually.
Okay.
Just to be, and I'm not being meaning to be flippant there.
Right.
But there are 6 major ones that run through.
Okay, that's really what I was asking.
Yeah, let me put it this way. They're the 6 major acupuncture meridians that run through.
Yeah.
You
That's what
also,
I'm referring to.
yeah, you also have the 3 deep channels, the central and left and right, are running through the arms and legs, as well as the torso and the head. So
Okay.
they are of course deep, they're in and beside the bones,
Okay.
and many more.
Okay.
Anything for either of the women in our class?
No, just when I first started, a lot of crunching, and that felt a lot better by the time I did a few repetitions.
Yeah, it's really interesting how helpful this can be to releasing stuck things in the thoracic area. Also, when you're doing anything, and whether it's 8 gates or another Qigong or Tai Chi, if there's any place where your movement tends to pause or hang up or have a glitch, very often it's because the fascia is stuck and needs to be released. So this can be helpful in all of that. Is that a question, Joyce? Or just a wave? Okay, just a wave. All right. So what I want you to do now is to think about doing the basic dynamic sphere. We'll be real simple about it. Aha. However, you want your shoulder blades to move the arms. Okay? So we step out and there's a little bending as you come into center, and then the shoulder blade is going out, and then it's coming back in. And back out. And back in, and release your arm. Let the shoulder blade do the movement. Feel the shoulder blade moving. Be aware of the spear that you're tracing. This is not just a circle. Feel the shoulder blades sending the energy out into your hand. Back in. Keep going for a moment. Make sure you don't close off the armpit. Remember that there is continuous sinking and rising as the qua and the legs bend with the arms.
David, I have a question.
Yep.
When you say shoulder blade reaching out and shoulder blade coming in, are you talking about that with relationship to the spine, out
Yep.
from the spine?
Yes.
So this is sort of where's the circle? Is there a circle that your shoulder blade is doing in this?
Yes.
I know. Anyway, is it shoulder blade as you're reaching out and in, as you're coming back in the middle of the spear, and then as the spear is close to you, the shoulder blade is close to your spine?
Yes, it's also understand that, yes, to answer your immediate question, but also remember that the very small but extremely important movement of the shoulder blades that you will have difficulty at first feeling is that if this is your back, your ribs, and this is your shoulder blade, it also moves away from the ribs and into the ribs. It's extremely small. It's extremely small when you begin. It takes a long time to get much movement there at all. But that's how part of how the movement becomes circular, in that it has that ability to go out and in both directions. Yes, if you want to, but start with just into the spine and out, but it is also circular. Too much information?
I think David's on mute.
David, I can't hear you if you're talking.
Yeah, he's on mute. Oh, Joyce, you're on mute now too.
She often is.
I
Okay.
know I'm on.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
I have a feeling all the things I said to them before they didn't hear.
Yeah, no, I think you've been on mute for about 2 minutes or so, maybe even longer.
Oh, well,
Have to watch the video.
yes, watch the video.
Okay.
So let's go to the single arm practice. Now that you can hear me. So, yes, there are a lot of other things going on here, but what you want to do is focus on the scapula and spherical movement if you can. But stepping out, going into your gongbu, and begin. Feel the scapula moving your arms. Feel the spherical movement. Keep going for a minute. That's coming along quite well, Carol. I lost her. Jeff, that look like pretty good connection to your scapula. I would work on continuing to develop the spherical sense.
Right. Especially the back part.
Yeah, it tends to, things tend to get a little flattened out here and there.
Yeah, definitely.
So Joyce, that's coming. It's interesting. Your left arm seems to want to have the elbow lead instead of the scapula, particularly when it's going up. And the S curve, the S curve that's been bothering us in the middle there. Remember that you need to relax the shoulder and drop the elbow. That's holding you back through there. That's part of what we were working on today, is releasing that whole shoulder area. Yeah, let that get down so that you can draw that S curve.
That feels so different. I just discovered something just by you saying that. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna play. Thank you.
Okay. Play away. Two things. One is that when you have that right arm coming up,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but you're tending to bring it out here.
Oh, it's gonna go.
It's going up the back of the ball. You're rotating that sphere.
Oh, I see. So it goes up the middle.
It goes up the middle back.
Okay. It's more like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So remember that this movement that you're doing is 1 and 2,
Mhm.
and 1 is rotate and shift back.
Oh, okay.
2 is rotate. 3 is turn.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it all with one turn.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be this. Seems like I'm-
This is,
Yeah,
it is so counterintuitive
it is.
for most people. So it's 1,
One,
keep turning 2, and then 3. But
somehow I'm not getting the
what,
second
yeah,
part of
what,
it,
what you just did
you know,
was this. You did 1 curve and you ended up over here.
right,
And it is, it's 1, 2, 3, all right here. Your body's turning. But it's all right in front of your body. Yeah, that's better.
so I thought there was a second.
There is. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 1, 2, back the other way, and then come to the bottom.
Oh. And then,
Yes.
oh, there's 3s down here. Okay.
Remember that old
Yeah,
that old thing? 1, 2, 3. Didn't change, but it's hard to incorporate.
I know for a lot of time, for a long time, I was doing 2, and then that's
3.
how I got to 3, but the foot doesn't move until 4.
No, it moves on 3.
It moves on 3?
Yeah.
Okay. As it comes in.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No, but that's, how many years have I done that?
So let's, because Dave wants a quick review
Oh, yeah. this is a quick one.
of the double arm, you're doing scapula movement there too. This is not, believe it or not, there's nothing different here. Let me just. Oh, that's right there. Good. Oh, let me get this out of the way. So the tricky part of the double arm is the transition. So the first part of it is pretty similar. We got 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stay back, 7, 8. 1, 2, 7, 8, excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, transition. 7, 8. So that's why I use transition there rather than another 7, 8, because we've already got 2 7, 8s.
So this is where I was not getting it, because I was not
When you get to here, you stay back and rotate forward. And then to left.
Yeah, but I think it's going off of my right foot and then my left.
Now, let me do it the same way you are.
Okay.
So starting with right foot forward.
Right.
So we have 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stay back. 7,
That's where I was.
8. 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, cover up the back, 5, 6, 7, 8,
And I just turn.
transition,
Okay.
7, 8.
Yeah, I got one. No, I couldn't figure out how to get from the right to the left. Because then when I went to go into transition, my hands were in the wrong place.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was where I forgot
That,
that happened.
that answered that?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Anyone else have a question about the double arm? While we're there?
No, but thank you for the review. I had to tweak one step, so.
Okay. Okay. But where I did want to go was to go to the form. And also there, focus on the scapula and spherical movement. It's all the same principles, just different ways of applying it. So go into the form. We've only done one side so far, so we haven't complicated it further yet. Okay. Just take a moment, let your mind settle. Breathe. Extend your mind through your body. And then begin, stepping out with the left heel. And into center. And into your right gongbu. And into ward off right. And roll back. Turn the leg. Push down again. Step to the corner. Shift. Press forward. Shoulder. Scapula. Pull down. Needle at C bottom. Step to the corner again. Shift forward and elbow. And step. Rotated shift, 7, 8. Transition. 7, 8. Roll back. Turn. Push down. Press forward. cow shoulder. Needle at sea bottom. Elbow strike. And liaise split. Do you have a question there, Dave?
No, I was thinking about it.
Okay.
I'll think about it.
Okay, everybody relax for a moment and watch me. And Carol has given me the opportunity to talk about a couple of things. Dave needed to sit down after his 9-hour drive. So timing couldn't have been better. So press forward is a particularly difficult movement, I think, probably for everybody. I'm getting rid of my head and trying to get to where you can just see my arms here at the moment. So we've completed roll back. Notice that as I begin to turn, my elbows bend in and then they extend out. And then as I continue forward, they bend in and then they extend out. And there is body movement with every part of that. So you have, in effect, two push downwards. 1, 2. Okay, it's a very complex movement, and I understand the difficulty because it took me a while to get a grip on it. And there's a lot happening in a very short space. So my first recommendation is really slow it down to try to find all of that movement. The body is making 1 half circle. That's all. It doesn't make a whole circle in this case. So as it does in the form. Here, Master Joe has made it a little more complex for us. So you have to slow it down so you can find those movements. And the movements that bending in and extending out is coming from the shoulder blades, not anywhere else. So that's my first point. Anybody have a question about that?
I guess just an observation with myself. I think this was one of the problems I had. Is when I, because we gotta let the elbows go out and then in and then out. And whenever I move forward, they're gonna naturally go in.
And they,
Well, when we do the forward part, right, because when you start to sink, they go out, and now you're moving forward, and they're in, and then a little rise.
the elbows are, but not the hands.
Oh, okay. Well,
So what happens is the hands are palms up.
right,
Now they're starting to rotate inward,
but you're coming forward, so the
Yeah.
elbows are moving in,
and then they move,
and you rise and they come.
and then they move.
Yeah.
So the hands are just doing this. That's all the hands are doing.
Right,
The scapula and the elbows are doing this, 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 and this.
okay. Yeah. I think what helped me was when we go onto that right foot, you're moving forward slightly, but they have to come in.
Yep.
So then everything else, as you're sinking, is out, and then as you begin to rise, they're out.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what helped me
Yep.
kind of pick it apart.
Good.
Just have to do it a few hundred times.
Well, that's all.
That's all. No problem.
Anyone else have a question there?
David, yeah, could you please do it one more time, real slow motion and narrating the in and out again?
Yes, so be aware that the in and out is referring to the scapula and the elbows.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that all through my head that while I'm trying to make sure the hands are doing up and going, so it's, if you can do it one more time really slow, I can follow that on video a few times.
I'm gonna turn it so I'm facing the camera this time,
Okay,
because you've got it sideways.
Yep.
And this will help you see the movement of the elbows a little better.
yeah, that'll be great.
So at this point, you've completed rollback.
Yeah.
So now you're turning, pulling in, out, in, out.
Wow, okay.
You see, does that, can you see that?
Yes, I can see that very well. Thank you. And I'm just trying to get my body used to doing that while I'm doing that half circle, which I wasn't really doing very well in the
Yeah.
past. So,
It's a tough movement. I am sympathetic about that.
okay, thanks.
Press forward. Okay, we get into shoulder. Remember when you step to shoulder and you rotate and shift forward, it's just a passing note that everything is expanding out from the body. So it's really interesting. It's almost as if you had your hands on the side of the spear and were pushing it away. The other half of that is that the energy in back of you is also pushing away. But you got to get this one first. But Carol, and I think more than Carol, going into needle at sea bottom. So you've gone to this point. You have a shift forward, which moves the arms, starts to move the arms. You have a turn to the left, which resets that rear foot. And then you have a half circle this way, up,
Oh,
up, and down. I'm exaggerating that movement. At the same time, your body is rotating left. So you are going both up, down, and rotating left, and you can release your toe to allow your leg to turn if you need to. You don't have to be tightened up there. And then you're going up, and it's, Carol, it's at this point that the rising on the right leg positions the left foot, pulls it as you go up. And then you come down, doing pull down, and end up facing straight ahead. And then in passing, I might also mention, when you go into elbow strike, it's the same pace as the rest of what you're doing. It's not, hopefully. Do you have a watch on?
I do.
212.
Yeah, 12 after.
Oh. So that's a lot of stuff I've dumped on you here. Anybody have further questions on any part?
No further questions, but I just wanted to say that was great. Thank you for all of that. And I also want to say a special thank you for continuing to do the Zoom thing, because it makes it available at times that I wouldn't be able to. And I really appreciate your time and energy and effort. And you always sort of like, I'm like out here and you bring me back onto the track and I go along. Chugga, chugga, chugga. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Yes, I appreciate that as well.
Yeah,
Okay, well, have a good couple of weeks. Practice hard as you can.
Mhm.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
David,
you.
stay on
Stay
for
safe
just a
and
second.
well. Watch out for the monkey virus.
Yeah.
yeah. Or the mice in your car.
Ah!
Have a good week, David.
Okay, will do. Bye-bye.
Hi, everybody. David,
Yes.
2 weeks from now, I am supposed to be in Connecticut with Kate and Jesse.
Oh, good.
It's going to be a short visit, just Friday through Monday. But if things go as planned, I would like to come in person for our next class and bring them, as long as it's going to be nice weather, they can kind of explore outside and play outside and you know,
Sure.
walk around and stuff. And if they need to come in and use a bathroom, they can do that upstairs without interrupting the class or anything like that.
Yep,
So I wanted to run that by you and see if that was okay.
sure, that's fine. It'd be great to have you here. I can really give you trouble.
I'm sure you can. So, again, if all goes as planned, that's what I would like to do. And I will obviously let you know for sure, A, if we're going to be in Connecticut, and B, if we're going to try and come there on Monday.
Okay,
A lot of
great.
it does hinge on my mother. It's a short trip. She's extremely ill mentally and physically. So
Oh,
I'm assuming that it'll be okay, because she usually has trouble sleeping at night and then ends up sleeping, later in the morning because she doesn't get to sleep till 4 or 5 a.m. So that means I probably wouldn't, even if she's not doing well, I wouldn't be seeing her until mid-afternoon anyways.
yeah.
So I'm hoping to get up there and see you, but I just wanted to let you know what's
Okay,
happening.
great.
We hope to be there and all. So,
Well, we'll hope you can do that.
yeah, and I will definitely update you when we get there and let you know for sure if I'm coming in person. If
Okay,
I'm
great.
not able to make it in person, unfortunately, I'd probably have to miss the class because I don't think I'd have anywhere to do it on Zoom, but I
Well-
really want to come.
Well, at least there'll be the recording.
Right. There's always that.
Dave will remind me.
Yep.
That's right. Okay. Well, thank you.
Thanks.
And I hope to see you in 2 weeks.
Okay, buddy.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.